Welcome to this presentation on nutrition for the current youth. So, once you ask why food habits are very important, what is normally observed and what is found is that our diet decides how we are and what we are. So, this diet is not only needed for our general well being as of now, but then what we take today decides how we are going to be, the way we are going to be healthy even after a longer period. For example, whatever you have at the age of 15 to 20 or 25 decides the extent of resistance to any disease at the age of 50. So that is the main thing. Along with this, then any physical activity also improves the well-being and reduce the risk of conditions such as diabetes, heart diseases, etc. So when you consider the basics of nutrition, when we consume a lot of food which are broadly classified as the energy rich products, which include carbohydrates and fats, then some of these are required for structure of the cell, our skin, etc., plus repair and defense mechanism. So the proteins do this part, and to ensure that the carbohydrates, fat or proteins are performing well, we require vitamins and minerals in a small quantity. So this is the classification based on nutrition. And when you go for the carbohydrates are the main fuel source. That is, our body requires carbohydrates as the energy source, and it is most widely present after water in most of the food, or as well as it is in nature also. And when you consider the classification of carbohydrates based on the structure, we have the simple sugars like your glucose, your table sugar, which is sucrose, the sugar that is found in milk, lactose, etc., which are instant sources of energy. And we have the polymers like starch, etc., which are converted to the simple sugars during the process of digestion. So these are the complex carbohydrates. Further down to that, we have the fibers, which are also polymers of say glucose and other sugars, but then which are not that easily digestible. In fact, these fibers can be called as the soluble and the insoluble. Soluble fibers are something like cellulose, which we normally find in green leafy vegetables and which are not digested by the human body. The other category is something like pectin, which we find in fruits, etc., which reach the large intestines and are digested or utilized by the microorganisms that are present in the large intestines. So the sources of carbohydrates include your fruits and vegetables. Fruits are a good source of the simple sugars as also the fiber. Okay, vegetables are a good source of mostly the insoluble fibers. Milk is a good source of the simple sugars and proteins. You also the other group of the commodities which are good or which are consumed basically as a source of carbohydrates. Of course, legumes are also consumed as a protein source. Okay, as we have already seen earlier, carbohydrates are the energy sources. Carbohydrates primarily are converted to glucose and then utilized as the energy source by your Krebs cycle. One more thing is that if I am not going to have good amount of carbohydrates, a carbohydrate diet, etc., what happens is that the proteins are then converted to glucose. So this happens. For example, if I am going to fast, what basically happens is on one side I have what is called as the gluconeogenesis. The other side is that the proteins are converted to glucose, and as a result, what basically happens is protein starvation happens. So when proteins are converted to glucose, protein is not able to be utilized for growth and repair. As a result, it becomes a case of protein malnutrition. So some of the food rich in complex carbohydrates, as I said, these are called as a dietary fiber or other things, are something like your breakfast cereals, whole grain bread, oats, and berries, pears, etc. These are a good source of pectin. And vegetables like broccoli, carrot, etc. Apart from pectin, they are also good source of the uh, cellulose, etc. Peas again are sources. These are sources, peas, pulses, etc. are sources of the pentosanes, which are soluble in the large intestines, as also potatoes with skin. Another method of classification of carbohydrates is based on the glycemic index. Now, glycemic index is the ability of different type of food which contain carbohydrates to increase the glucose level within 2 hours in the blood. So, if it is going to raise it very quickly, it is called as a high GI food, which includes something like your glucose, sucrose, etc. And if it delays the release, or if the release is slow, we have it as a moderate glycemic index and those with a low glycemic index. And the other method of categorization is a glycemic load, where the glycemic index and the portion size, the amount of the food you have, is also taken into consideration. Now, the glycemic index as the ability to increase or easily digest food to simple sugars is dependent on the method of processing. Now, how is that possible? We know that in the case of fruit juice, for example, I can have the fruit juice as such or after filtration, the way we the local fruit stall person does it. So when I'm going to filter the fibers, etc., what happens is the glycemic index goes high because these fibers delay the release of sugar. So that is another thing. Another thing is something like cooking. So when I'm going to increase the cooking time, what basically happens is more of the starch gets solubilized. So there is an easy liberation of glucose. Hence, normally, the traditional method they say is you should not cook any food for a longer time. The third thing is ripeness and storage. The time of harvest of your fruit or vegetable, we normally know that raw fruit has high amount of starch. It does not taste that sweet because it is a good source of starch. Now, during the ripening stage, we have the conversion of starch to glucose or fructose, which increases the sweetness and hence the glycemic index. So, it is normally better that you go for a semi-ripe fruit as compared to a very ripe fruit. Other thing is the type, that is normally a long grain white rice has a lower glycemic index than the brown rice, though we say that brown rice is where the rice has been lesser processed and which has a certain amount of bran outer cover in it. Similarly, the foods eaten with main food also affects, for example, a high sugar diet or a high oil also affects the glycemic index. Now, some of the examples of food with a high glycemic index includes your breakfast cereals which have been processed, fruit juice with the fiber removed, your carbonated beverages, cookies, white bread is that done with maida, or a pineapple, because pineapple and all, if you see, it is just there is no fiber in it, so it is a very good source of sugar and hence has a very high glycemic index. Some of the other examples you can see in this chart. So you have your glucose or fruit leather. Fruit leather is something like your jam which has a very high amount of sugar added. So these are the food with a high glycemic index. In between you have your fruit condensed syrup or a whole wheat bread. And finally you have the low glycemic index foods. After the carbohydrates, we have proteins, which are again important, as we have already seen. These are the structural and functional compounds of the living cell. So they give structure to the cell, as also they are important for your defense mechanism. Almost half the protein of our body is in the form of the muscle, and the rest is in the case of a bone and the connective tissues like cartilage and skin. And you are well aware that proteins are complex molecules formed by amino acids, which are called as polypeptides, and hence and in the flow you become a protein. Again, in the case of amino acids, you have the essential amino acids which are not synthesized by the body and then required in the diet. And when you consider the energy value, both the proteins and carbohydrates give an energy of around 4 kilocalories per gram. Now, the sources of proteins can be animal sources like milk, meat, fish, and egg. It can be from plant fruits like pulses, legumes, your cereals, etc. And normally it is observed this animal proteins are well digested because of the constituents present, and these are complete proteins because all the essential amino acids are present in a higher quantity. Whereas when you consider plant foods, these have a lesser amount of essential amino acids, particularly something like lysine in a smaller quantity. So as a result, normally a combination of the plant and the animal proteins is recommended for a proper uh, provision of the body towards proteins. Next comes fats, which are a very concentrated source of energy, as they provide almost twice the energy provided by the carbohydrate or the protein. These are made up of fatty acids, again can be classified as saturated and unsaturated fatty acids, and these fats can be invisible fats or visible fat. Now, what is invisible fat? Every commodity that we know has a certain proportion of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. For example, when you see a groundnut contains carbohydrates, it also contains proteins, but then certain amount of fat. So this you don't observe directly, and so these are, when I am going to have such foods, we have fats indirectly. Whereas when I am going to have something like fried food, etc., it is the visible source of fat. Now, other importance of fat is they are sources of fat soluble vitamins, and the type and quantity of the fat, that is, we know about the omega fatty acid, etc., the quantity of the fat, unsaturated to saturated fat. So these decide on the level of cholesterol and triglycerides found in the blood. Okay, so as we have seen earlier, based on the function, the food that we eat can be considered as energy rich food, that those which contain high amount of carbohydrates and fats like whole grain cereals and millets, or vegetable oils, etc. The bodybuilding foods which have a high amount of proteins, for example pulses, nuts, and oilseeds. Now in this case, one has to remember that all these things, all the category, entire categorization in this thing does not mean that one does not contain any amount of, like for example, if it is a carbohydrate rich food, what we mean to say that it has carbohydrates on a greater proportion as compared to fats or proteins. So that is what is the basic classification. Okay. So when you consider the Indian scenario, what we are observing now is that around 33% of the men and 36% of the women have a body index below 18.5. That is, they are very thin, and they have also what is called as a chronic energy deficiency. That is, whatever they provide has a problem with, they are not are having a good amount of energy rich compounds, and in the household it is around 70%. Plus then there is also a good amount of protein inadequacy. When you consider the energy and the protein inadequacy, it is observed that there is a greater amount of energy inadequacy as compared to protein inadequacy, because till now there was an impression that more of the problem is because of protein malnutrition. But whereas what we are observing is that it is more of energy inadequacy, and we have already seen that when there is an inadequacy of the energy, that is mostly as carbohydrates, then proteins will be converted to carbohydrates, leading to inadequacy of the proteins. So this is, so the problems of malnutrition, particularly after these over the past 10 years or so, because of the urbanization, you have started having a high amount of fat and sugar. Normally most of the youth, most of the college going students prefer having a plate of French fry and a carbonated beverage, which has a very high amount of fat, high amount of sugar. Your carbonated beverage is a source of high sugar, and high fat comes from your fried products. Whereas our traditional dishes like idli or something has a good amount of carbohydrates, proteins and also fat. So, when I am going to have a high amount of fat and sugar, what basically happens is that I have a diet which is rich energy wise, but which does not provide something like protein, vitamins and minerals. So, this is one problem. That is, I am having a high amount of fat and sugar. I am also having a lesser physical activity, because in olden days our grandfathers etc., they used to cycle or walk, but now there is nothing called as walking, and we know most of the people do not know what a cycle is. So, because of this, what happens is, though we have a good amount of food, because of the lack of physical activity, whatever we have is stored in the adipose tissue, and thereby leading to what is called as malnutrition. What is malnutrition? An improper balance of the nutrition, that is a certain proportion of carbohydrate, protein and fat. This balance is not maintained, and as a result there is a difficulty in the general well-being. Okay, so when you consider the recommended dietary allowance, in the case of carbohydrates, the recommended dietary allowance is only 282, whereas in rural areas the amount consumed is 432, which is almost something like 1.5 times, something like 170% of this. Similar 70% more than this. Similarly, in urban India also, if you see, it is something like 50% of this. So, we consume 50% or 70% or more than what is required of carbohydrate. When you consider protein, we observe that it is only 1/3 of what is supposed to be consumed. So, we are having a diet which has more carbohydrate and less protein. When you consider the calories to be provided also, as I said, it has to be equally between carbohydrates and proteins. What we observe is that in the case of carbohydrates, we have much more, similar to something like 70% more of carbohydrates, 70% less of the proteins, and we hardly have any amount of fruits or vegetables. So, this is the current Indian scenario, and how to decide on the diet for a good health, we'll just see. So, when you consider what to decide, basically the food can be classified into conventionally as cereals, millets and pulses, basically which are cultivated in a larger quantity and which are also had in a larger quantity. Next comes your vegetables and fruits, then the milk products, that is the animal products, and then oils, fats, etc. So, this is the general food group, and normally it is suggested that we need to have a combination of all the 4 category of food. So, the first thing that was done by the USDA is the introduction of a food guide pyramid, and this pyramid, as the name suggests, in the pyramid we have the base which is wide and which tapers as we go at the top. So, it decides that some of the food can be had in a larger quantity, something like the base of the pyramid, and certain food had to be consumed in a restricted amount, like the apex. So, this is the concept of pyramid or a food pyramid, which was put forward by the USDA in the 90s. Okay. So, the features is that cereals and legumes, as I said, can be consumed in a sufficient quantity, followed by vegetables and fruit. Now, cereals and legumes, etc., they are good sources of both carbohydrates and proteins, and so in the carbohydrates again they are good sources of the complex carbohydrates as well as sugar. And when you consider vegetables and fruits, if you consider, as I said, they have either a good source of the dietary carbohydrates or sugar, but they don't normally contain good amount of protein. So, where a food provides all the 3 categories, that is carbohydrates, fat and protein, can be consumed on a larger quantity, which provides only say 1 or 2 of it in a moderate quantity, and at the top is something like your processed food, something like your carbonated beverages, etc., which is only a source of one. For example, carbonated beverage is a good source only of the free sugars. A fried product, more of only the oil. So these have to be consumed in a smaller quantity. So in the case of the Indians, as I already told, the cereals and legumes etc. can be had in a larger quantity. Vegetables and fruits comparatively a lesser amount as compared to the cereals and pulses. Animal sources of food, particularly meat etc., in a smaller quantity as compared to this, and high sugar, high fat, for example, something like your pickle, jam etc., has to be eaten sparingly. Okay, so in a balanced diet, what is it is that 50 to 60% of the total calories has to come from carbohydrates. I have already seen that carbohydrates and proteins give the same amount of calories, and the fat gives twice the calories as compared to carbohydrates or protein. So when you consider a balanced diet, it should be something like 50 to 60% to come from carbohydrates, 10 to 15% from proteins, and 20 to 30% from both visible and invisible fat. And these by consuming the carbohydrate source or protein source or fat source, we should also provide the other things like dietary fiber or antioxidants, vitamins, etc. This is what is a balanced diet supposed to be. So after this, then came in the 2000 the concept of my plate. Now instead of a pyramid, it is in the form of a circle where you have sectors which decide on the amount of food to be consumed. In the earlier case, dairy products came with something like a protein or animal source, whereas here they are not differentiating animal or fruit source. They are just telling that you have a grain, you have the proteins. This can be from any source, vegetables, fruits, and dairy products. So here it is better that, again, as the earlier case, less amount of sugar or less amount of sodium is preferred, and this plus again it recommends a good amount of exercise. So grain and products from the same, then you have the vegetables, then the dairy products, and fruits and proteins. In this case, unlike the earlier case, there is no mention about the oil, but then it has to be had at a certain quality. Plus, then a minimum of 1 hour of exercise is required. Aerobic or can be anaerobic, which improves the muscles if it is anaerobic, and the bone strength etc., plus the general well-being by the aerobic exercise. So the recommendations are something like you can have around 270 grams of raw cereal, around 90. This is the raw food. So when it is going to be cooked, it will come somewhere around, say, twice or thrice the amount. So instead of 270, it will come somewhere around 700 to 800. Similarly, pulses around 90 grams, milk and curd around milk and vegetables around 300 grams per day, and fruits as mentioned. So this is the recommended diet for in the case of the Indians. So this is what it is. So though, as I said, it is only 270, the amount of calories it gives is around 900 because this multiplied by 4. Okay. So then when you consider the macronutrients, these are the other things. So in that case, then protein has to be around 60 grams per day, plus fat around 30 or something. Calcium should be 600 milligrams because calcium it is required for bone growth, bone stability, etc. Then iron for the blood, so as a source of hemoglobin. So this is the RDA for macronutrients and minerals required. When you consider vitamins, we see that vitamin A is required in higher quantity because vitamin C is a source of these are sources of beta carotene or vitamin A, which is required for a good vision, the color vision, as also night vision. So these should be had in a higher quantity, followed by the other things. And also ascorbic acid, which is needed in a higher quantity. This is because this performs the the function of fighting against any disease or anti-aging. So normally then is required in a higher quantity, and you observe that in the case of pregnant women, the amount required is much higher. In fact, because twice of what is required by the normal uh, healthy individual. So when you consider here, they support the consumption as portions. So instead of having a one large portion, cereals etc. have to be a portion of 30 grams, and in the case of 12 portions that are coming, so 12 portions of 30 grams. Similarly, 3 portions of vegetables of 100 grams each, and fruits only one portion of 100 gram. So they are recommended as portions, because just because we say that I require 2000 kilocalorie does not mean that I have all the 2000 kilocalories in one shot. So basically they recommend having it at least thrice or 5 times a day. So this is what is the recommendations given. So when you consider the balanced diet, so basically 30-gram portion of cereals and millets, and 30 grams of pulses, 100 ml, this is per serving, then 100 ml of fruits and tubers, 100 grams of green leafy vegetables, 100 grams etc. And now this is per serving. So multiplied by 12 or whatever it is, 12.5 times in the case of cereals, 2.5 times of pulses etc. is what is recommended. So minimize the ready to eat fast food or hydrogenated fat, as we have already seen some of these details. And also exercising is required. So you have to have at least 30 to 45 minutes of brisk walk or physical activity, followed by almost equal time of warm up and cool down period, so which is again required. So at the end of the day, you will have something around 1 hour of exercise. This helps in minimizing the heart diseases, then diabetes, obesity, also improves the strength of the bones and muscles, plus then reduce the anxiety and depression. So other thing is better to have a traditional homemade food, avoid replacing meals with snack food. Snack food is what we call like your French fry and then accommodated breaks etc. Instead of that, better to have a meal, and limit the consumption of sugar, and better have a fortified food. So as I said, a sample meal plan can be something like, in the taste of a breakfast, have milk with sugar, then cereals and pulses. So something like a breakfast item can be something like 4 numbers of idli or 3 numbers of dosa, 1.5 cup of upma etc., which is preferable. So half a cup of milk or a 2 cup of coffee or tea, and a breakfast is of 90 grams. Similarly, lunch is cereals 120, 20, which is based on the proportions given. So which converts to something like 2 cups of rice or 2 numbers of fulka. This is either one, not all. So dal half a cup, veg curry, veg salad etc. This is for the lunch, and in between then I have my tea and snacks, followed by dinner, again something like 120 grams etc. So it is almost same. Plus apart from that, during the night a certain amount of fruit is also required. So this is what is preferred or recommended by NIN. So similarly the case with women. So we come to the end of the presentation. Thanks a lot for the patient hearing.